Thank you,
Thank you
Lynn.
so much, Nellie. I appreciate this opportunity to present to colleagues and have a conversation with you today. I think this is my second year in this conference, so I really appreciate the opportunity to reconnect. Today, as I promised, it will be hands-on and to get you to experience the application called Pangea Chat. And I hope that after that, maybe you have questions and that there are things that I can answer regarding using AI or regarding just designing learning on for an application. So you can, if you want to check out my profile, I have the website here, but I can also add it later. A little bit more about me, since Nellie introduced me in my role of as the founder of Eduling and Eduling Speak. So I want to talk about my background a little bit in the sense that while I have been teaching English for more than 20 years, and I taught at a university in Pittsburgh here for 12 years, teaching international students who came here to improve their English skills. But 5 years ago, I started Eduling, and then I started developing an app called Eduling Speak. The reason is actually my experience and expertise in task-based language teaching. So I wanted to create an app that uses tasks to develop students' language skills instead of maybe lessons that you are familiar with or students are familiar with in terms of explaining grammatical rules or doing grammatical exercises or language exercises. I want them to be more authentic and geared toward more authentic language use. I have presented a lot on the topic of task-based language teaching, including a presentation through the US Department of State. And through that experience, I actually created a course on the app called Developing Communicative Tasks. So if you're curious about learning about this topic, you can go through this course. It's very short. It's micro-learning. As Dr. Tovar just mentioned, that it's suitable for certain things. It's very convenient. You can binge on it in the sense that you can finish it within a weekend, or you can finish it in a few weeks. Anyway, so I just want to share it because I think it will be very useful if you're interested in developing tasks. Moving on, today I am actually talking about Pangea Chat. So this is another app that I'm contributing to in my role as their Chief Learning Officer. What does it mean? I contribute to product development. I support teachers in using it in their classroom. I collaborate with researchers to also do research into the app. And it is funded by the National Science Foundation here in the US. So we are fortunate to have the grant from the foundation to further develop the app. Anyway, so what is it? Actually, this is based on the idea of texting is a preferred and dominant form of communication in the US. And perhaps you can say that it is common all over the world. If you look at your experience during the day in terms of texting other people on the phone, on social media, or even here, right? In this platform, you are texting with other colleagues to communicate ideas. So texting is very common and it's a preferred form of communication. Millennials in particular, my generation, prefer messaging 8 times more than face-to-face communication. And I can see that in my tendency to want to text more than picking up the phone and calling someone. Another piece of research that shows that college students spend an average of about 95 minutes a day texting. And this is already a little bit old. Perhaps the number is higher. And college students in particular also self-reported that they texted during their class. Now, the thing is that why don't we harness the power of texting for language learning? If students do it so much and so often, then we can take that opportunity to engage them in more texting for language learning. That's why Pangea Chat came into existence here. It is an instant messaging platform built for language learning. Perhaps you are very familiar with a lot of communication platforms. Maybe I can stop at this point to ask you, what communication platforms do you use? WhatsApp is popular all over the world, I'm sure. But are you familiar with any other communication platforms? Telegram. Yeah, I know Telegram is common in parts, some parts of the world. Viber. Oh, I heard of Viber. I've never used it. Hmm. Texting messages. Oh, my students have admitted to using texting messages for nearly 3 hours a day. Yeah, or even in the workplace when we communicate with colleagues, we use Teams or we use other communication platforms to communicate. So, or okay, TikTok, Instagram, can also text through those platforms. Messenger, yes, I use that every day, quite often on Facebook. Yeah. So, what is different about Pangea Chat is that it is built for language learning, and currently it has 49 target languages. It's quite exciting that we are supporting a lot of languages in the world. Does Duolingo have texting? As far as I know, no, but things can change. Um, Giving you some kind of also academic reasoning here for the creation of the app. I have always been fascinated and interested in computer-mediated communication. The way we communicate with each other these days are digitally mediated or computer-mediated. So a lot of researchers have been interested in this means of communication as a way to develop language proficiency. And research has shown that actually CMC increases participation and language production. Right? Students actually produce more language in this format. It also increases syntactic complexity. It means that students use more complex sentence structures using computer-mediated communication. There's more negotiation of meaning. We want that because through negotiation of meaning, students also acquire language forms. And it can increase cultural understanding, especially during authentic communications. Okay, so I want to bring up this image because recently I read an article and the idea is really fascinating and you are already doing it. That these days when we talk about computer-mediated communication, we also have AI in the room. AI is already integrated into a lot of products, but also I remember in the previous conversation or previous session, you also mentioned that you want to use the phone in the classroom. Maybe in the classroom, students can interact with the teacher, but also with the AI. So there has been a research project focusing on this actually. So when there is this conversation AI in the room and the teacher in the room, you can see that the interactions are directed toward the teacher mostly in this class, in the first class. And AI, the interactions are also directed with AI. But during the second class session, students got more used to talking with the conversation AI and you see more interactions directed with the AI. So this is really interesting in the sense that it has already changed the patterns of interaction in the classroom. Okay, so for Pangea Chat, now is the chance for you to try it, and you can download it to your phone, but I'm gonna go right to it and show you. Let me stop sharing and invite you to sign up for it and join my space because I have already created a space and I want you to try Spanish. Who here speaks Spanish? If you don't know Spanish, that's even better because the platform allows beginners to start using the target language. And I have been learning Spanish on the platform. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a link in the chat and I'm gonna invite you to join my space. Okay, QR code, okay. And I'll share the QR code as well. You don't speak Spanish, that's good. You are there, that's good. Okay, so we're gonna wait for people to join and then I'm gonna make you start chatting in Spanish and see what your experience is. Let me share the QR code again. you can download it to your phone. So here's the QR code. And first, you can download it, sign up for an account. The only part that takes time is you have to verify your email. So make sure to check your email to verify your email. It may get to your spam folder. So, okay, so one of you already says you're there. And if you use the code to join, you're gonna go to your profile picture and then click join space and then click the invite code that or input the invite code that I just put in the chat. Okay, so maybe as you do that, I hope you will be in my space to try it together. As you do that, I can also show you some of the functions of the app and analyze, I call learning affordances there. So for example, here I have been learning Spanish for a while, and sometimes mostly these days I talk with the bot, but you can also talk with other people. And I can say whatever is on my mind that day, or I talk about things that are happening. So one day I was talking about, I don't know, okay, flowers, different flowers. And yesterday I shared a picture there just to show how I can share a picture. But the bot also says something back to me. So when I click on a message, like this, it's gonna let me share the sound so you can hear the sound.
Hola, ¿cómo estás hoy? ¿Qué has hecho últimamente?
So it asks me, and when I click on this message, I understand most of it. But if there's a word that I don't understand, I can click on it. So for example, here, this word.
Hecho.
When you click on it, it will show you the meaning, the lemma or the form, the base form, and then the meaning. And then you can also check the grammatical features of the word. So in this case, it is a verb, and yeah, it is in the singular form. It is in the past tense, right? It is in the form is participle here. So I know that this word means to make or to do. And then this one, I can make a guess, but if I'm not sure.
Últimamente.
And then I can do a little exercise here. So maybe it says, it asks me, what have you done lately? Okay, so I can respond back and I say, I am giving a presentation, for example. So I say, and if I know the word presenter is a verb. And so I say, yo estoy, and I can mix in English. I know that I'm making guesses and I can be wrong. To teacher or para, I'm sure I'm wrong. Los teacher, educators. So now I'm trying to compose a message, and this word I used it in English, but now it helps me to convert it into Spanish, right? By giving
Educadores.
3 options, and I have to choose the correct option. Wow, surprisingly, my verb is actually correct here. So I have learned just by chatting, even with grammar. And so that is how I communicate with the bot, and it already responded right away here. It say how good, if that teach about flowers, what flowers. So if I don't understand some of the information here, I think this verb means have or do have. If I don't understand, again, I can click on it. And then this one, I can click on.
Presentarías. Primero.
Maybe primary, right? First. And I can listen to the whole message as
¡Qué bien! Si tuvieras que enseñar sobre flores, ¿qué flores presentarías primero?
Yeah. If you can teach about flowers, what flowers you would present first? That's my guess. Let's see if I check pronunciation, whether that would be correct. So yeah, so that's why it allows beginners to start talking and to start talking and accumulating language. And that's what I have been done for the past few months by talking with the bot. But I do understand that talking with the bot is not enough. You're going to have to start talking with people. So if you know Spanish and you want to chat with me, then I would love to do that. So someone shared similar chat language learning bot, but too many ads and push to get paid version. Yeah, we don't have any pushes like that at this point, but there are more that you can explore here. And let me see if you are now in my space or not, because I would love to get you chatting there. So I'm going to go back to my space. And I think, oh, this is my Vietnamese space because it has other languages. Okay, now I have 14 participants. So when you join my space, you can see these chats. Can you click on it and join? And especially this one, introductions. If you are in my space, do you want to join the chat here and start introducing yourself in Spanish? Even just type one sentence is okay. And even in this space, you can see that the bot is there too. And it is there to ask you questions, right? Maybe the teacher is not there all the time, then it is there to ask questions. So I see someone is typing. The bot say, "Hola todos." Hello, everyone. How do you want to start? Tell your name and something fun. Compare ideas, right? And so someone just says, "Hola," that's fine. And then, oh, okay, now I can see your name. Hola, me llamo Antonio. And the thing is that
Llamo.
I can click on this and listen. For learners, there are a lot of opportunities to learn.
Hola, me llamo Antonio.
Yeah, nice to meet you. If I want to type nice to meet you and in Canto, maybe connecting, no say. Two, no say. Okay, let's see. If I'm wrong, it's gonna correct me. So, oh, here, it's a Spanish.
Encanto de conocerte.
Yeah, I need to use you, but you is connected to the verb. So this is a really interesting grammatical feature in Spanish. Okay, the bot also is very active because it's fast, right? It already says something. So it says, "Nice to meet you, Antonio. I am the facilitator. Do you like learning Espanol or Spanish? Tell me more." Oh, okay. Es un placer. Okay, it's a place to connect, right? Connect to, okay, let me see if I'm not sure.
Placer.
This word, I can click on it. Pleasure. Huh. And then
Conocerte.
a pleasure to connect or to know you, right? To know you. Yeah. Conoce means know. So those are the main functions in the chat. And you cannot join the chat and it speaks Italian. I think because it speaks Italian because you set it to Italian. So this is, I can show you more, that if you click on that, you can change your target language. Right now, my target language is Spanish, but if you can choose other languages, so that's why I tried Chinese, tried Arabic, Vietnamese. I speak Vietnamese, so I'm trying to get people to join to speak Vietnamese. I'm teaching my husband to do it. But if right now, if you are set to Italian, you're gonna have to set to Spanish as a target language. Then the bot will speak Spanish to you. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Anybody else is there trying? So I'm going Spanish space. It looks like the chat is going on. Okay. No comprendo. I don't understand. Okay. Nice to meet you. Oh, the bot speaks English back to you because you speak English. So it detects the target language and then it speaks that language back to you. But if I'm getting you to try a new language to see what the tool can do for your students, right? And someone says games, no problem. Games are fun. Okay. But anyway, and then sometimes it makes you do a listening activity. So you can have to listen.
No entiendo.
No entiendo means I don't.
No entiendo.
Yeah, I don't understand, right? Okay. So something else, it wouldn't let me write French. It made me convert to Spanish. Yeah, because if you set your target language as Spanish, then it will make you convert to Spanish. Yeah, but you can turn it off also. If you don't want it to correct you at all because you just want to type whatever you want to type, you can subscribe for 7 days free. So just click on it and click on free trial. So let me see what else I can, what else I want to show you here. I create another group chat and because I want to show you something else. So if you want to join this group, instead, actividades y juegos, meaning activities and games, right? Because when you have students on the platform here, you may want them to do more than just chatting with the bots. Then you can create games for them or activities for them. So we have a feature that is called an activity planner. So, and this is AI powered, right? You can put in a topic like science or technology, and then learning objective. Maybe you want them to give definitions. The mode here is that you want them to do a discussion, and you want to set the language, students' language to a certain level, and then the language of instruction and the number of learners here. So, and then you click generate activity, and it will give you 3 options here to choose from. Okay, definitions, the planetas. Again, I'm not a Spanish teacher, but the objective of this activity is to give a definition and then it describes the activities, the activity that students have to do, give some language suggestions and give some vocabulary suggestions. As a teacher, you can edit this. So you say maybe you want to add more information here to give instructions to students, and you want to add or delete some vocabulary here, and you can do that. And after you do that, you launch the activity, and then it will go straight to the chat space like this. So here, this is something. How did you get to activity? Okay, I cannot find it. So you need to go to a chat first. There is no difference between the desktop and a phone. It's just the interface is different because the phone is totally different, right? Yeah, the phone it has everything like the web. It's just that it's a different interface. Here, if you are on your phone, you can click on Activity Planner, and then you can create an activity here. And you can put some sentences or some words here for your students to choose. So here for this activity, I would like, if you are in my activity space or chat here, I would like you to try this in Spanish, or if you set it to English, it's okay, try it in English. So it says, talk about your favorite gadgets, right? Technology gadgets. Compare and contrast gadgets you use. Post a picture of your favorite gadget in the chat. Describe it using 3 adjectives. Ask others to share their gadgets and compare them using emojis. Okay, so iPhone, but if you are typing in Spanish or your target language, and you need to describe it also. And here I give some examples. Here are some adjectives, useful adjectives. So this is an adjective in Spanish, right? And as a student,
Útil.
if the student is not sure what it means, they can click on it.
Conveniente. Ahorra.
Ahorra, save time, right?
Económico.
Economical, mean not expensive. So if the definition is not correct, you can also correct it, because this is AI generated and not AI
Inteligente.
intelligent. It is smart, right? Some technologies are quite smart. And then you can play the message if you want to hear what it sounds. So basically, as a teacher, I give students a task or an activity. I give them some language, and they can click through this to understand the language, and they can try to compose their sentence. So
Ayudar.
they can use verbs as well. So this one,
Apoyar.
so if I'm trying to type something, I can say, yes, the phone is very useful. El teléfono, smartphone. I'm just trying to say smartphone es mi gadget favorito. Porque es, I don't know. Él es useful, útil, conveniente y practical. And you can see that I make some spelling, and it's gonna correct me or give me suggestions here. Let's see, and I can click on.
El teléfono inteligente es mi gadget favorito porque es útil, conveniente y práctico.
So I can click send. Now I have my sentence here, but I haven't shared a picture. If I want to share a picture, I can do it. So I can send an image of my phone. I don't have an image with my phone. I have an image of a lot of things. I can send an image of my Spanish book. This is my Vietnamese book, a Spanish activity. Just random to show you. But anyway, I would like you to experience it. And then I prefer Chat GPT for language learning on my phone. It produces games, correct me, translate, and do whatever I ask it. Yeah. But if you don't know something and you want to say something, then at least here we give you corrections and push you to produce the sentence. But yes, you can use ChatGPT in generating a lot of activities too. Okay, so that's what you can do in the chat. Me gusta photos, taking photos. Okay, good. And if you want to type other language in this chat, it's fine as long as you set it to a different language. Now, there's something else that I want to show you, and then I will stop for questions or talk about what activities you can do. Because I have been chatting in this space for a long time. Not a long time, for a few months. I have actually accumulated vocabulary. So we have analytics here for you to keep track of the words that you have used in your chat. So you see I have a long list. I have over 2,000 words here in Spanish that I have even typed it in the chat, or I have encountered it, interacted with it in some way. So for example, here, this one is a word that I have used. And when I click on it, it gives me...
Actividad.
Yeah.
Actividad.
So it gives me the word with the meaning and with the form that has been used in my chat. And it gives me examples of how I have used this word in my chat. It also gives me a record of the times I used it correctly and the times that incorrectly. So to me, as a language professional, a teacher and learner, I'm just excited by this because it gives me information and examples in context. So that's something that I really like. What else? I'm gonna show you another popular word here. The word the or el as a determiner is perhaps the most common word in Spanish, and it's the same for English, right? So this word is more complex because it has multiple forms, and I have used different forms of the word. And you can also see the examples here, mostly the plural forms here. It pulls out the 5 latest examples, so not all of them, but you can also see my record of how I have used it correctly and incorrectly, right? In my chat. So it's just fascinating to me. Something else we have, but we need to launch this next week is we also track grammar. This one is not fully developed yet, but next week, by the end of next week, you're gonna also see how I have used grammar in my chat. And as a language teacher, I feel that it is very useful. Okay, and let me share with you what I have been trying to do also with my daughter because I'm learning Spanish, but she is also learning Spanish at school. And so sometimes we do activities together. And I do have a Spanish learning games book that I published with a colleague. We have different language games that we can complete together. So for example, here, this is a page from the book that first my daughter or I to find the different things or different objects or features that these words represent, right? And then we have to describe the picture, and then we have to find the differences among pictures. So it's good to have the printed material, but because I'm still just learning Spanish, sometimes I'm not sure how to pronounce the words with my daughter. So I put the words here, and when I click on it,
Nube.
I can have the pronunciation, right?
Amarilla.
So that's what my daughter and I have been doing with the app. I use it on the phone because it's easier to just do it on the phone when I also have the paper to work with her with, and I have a video to show how we work together on this. Same with Vietnamese. Like I said, Vietnamese, sometimes I make my daughter do it with my husband. So I have to switch to Vietnamese to show you, but basically it's the same. We printed out the materials here, and then my daughter and my husband had to compare the pictures to find the differences. And because they are just learning Vietnamese, I put the words in the chat here, and then my husband can click on the words to know the pronunciation and to know what to do. So it is very versatile because how you use it is actually up to your imagination. But we have teachers who have from different universities who have been using the app. So for example, a professor from the University of Alabama in the US has been using it for Spanish for specific purposes. So he has his students post pictures and talk about different topics like healthcare, activism, jobs, stereotypes, and he gives them very specific tasks that they have to do, but mostly it is asynchronously. It means that they can type the messages on their own during their own time, and then they can comment on each other's messages. And students actually students find it very convenient. It's just like a discussion forum, but there's more support. They can also record audio there. For example, you can record an audio there. It's good for pronunciation practice as well. And another university, William and Mary in Virginia, also used it for their Spanish courses, and students played a game together in the space. They had to guess what the spy was, or who was the spy in the chat, for example. So it's really up to how you created the activity for students to interact with. So I see a lot of chat. Let me see comments in the chat, mostly about Duolingo. Duolingo is fun. The gamification, yeah, makes it fun. Our app is more social, right? Gamification for sure, and we also integrate gamification here in the sense that you also have level, you also have metrics that you can look at, and when during the micro interactions, you also have some elements that keep your intrinsic motivation up. You feel that it can be a delightful experience. For me, that is my experience. I'm so excited to see the words that I can understand and unlock, the pluses that fly up. So it's motivating that way through the micro interactions. What is really different from Duolingo is that it's more social. So you can interact with other people, and you can also interact with, play different games of different sizes. You can have the bot in a group chat. So yeah, okay, you prefer my own app. So I have a lot of creations, but each product is a little bit different from each other. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here to see if you have questions or comments, feedback.
Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you.
I really do prefer your app.
Tell me why.
I don't know. It's more exciting. I like the interface. I like everything about it. It looks great. Yeah. And it's easier to, I don't know, just the interface seems to be more user friendly.
Yeah.
I think this app has a lot more work to be done on it, especially on the phone. I don't know, maybe there's a problem with the iPhone. Maybe it's only for Androids. I don't know.
No,
but I was in the chat with you, but I wasn't getting any of the chat strip there, to add to the chat. I couldn't add anything because it wasn't there, but I was in the space because I tried to go into the space again. It said, no, you're in the space. So I did take a screenshot.
Okay.
And I will share that with you. But I think they have a lot of work. There are a lot of language apps out there, and I think the competition is huge.
Yeah.
And you have to really be unique in what you do. And Duolingo has a few unique things that they do, which is why people like it. Even though Duolingo is not a way to learn a language. It's just a way to learn vocabulary. I mean, a little bit, have some fun, and pretend that you're learning a language, but it's not, you can't really, leave Duolingo and start speaking the language.
Right.
You might understand it better, but it's not, it's kind of just a fun thing, pretending that you're learning a language.
Yeah.
But I think that your app, Eduling, I think is a lot. I mean, as an English language teacher, I can assess it.
Yeah. So
I think it's a lot better.
Yeah, this app has, like I said, it has a lot more languages, and Spanish is the most popular, and it is also geared towards teacher using it as a space for their students to interact with each other. I see it a little bit more versatile in how you can use it. Maybe that's why it takes some time to learn to use it. And someone asked whether it is free. It is free as a communication tool, but any of the functions regarding correcting you or giving you definitions or
translation is also not free.
Translation. Then you need to upgrade, but it's only $5 a month. And as a teacher, if you're interested in using it for your classroom, just contact me and I will walk you through the process, and I can give free trial. My email is here. I am excited about it because it integrates what I know about second language acquisition, right? You are communicating in a meaningful context. You are talking with other people. You want to say what you want to say. And the focus on form, I didn't say that too. I haven't addressed it so much. The focus on form happens in meaningful messages. So it's totally different from Duolingo. I know that Duolingo is synonymous to language learning. Whenever we introduce anything new or innovative, people always ask what is the difference with Duolingo. But this is very different. We address learning more implicitly, more meaningfully in context, and less repetition. With Duolingo, within a few months, I don't think that I can get exposure to 2,000 words like this. It's going to force me to repeat practicing the same thing over and over again for a long time. So that's what I'm very excited about, in the sense that we stay true to what we know about second language acquisition. In terms of the UX or the user experience, I'm very open to feedback. If you feel something is difficult to navigate, it's really good to know, or if there's a bug that needs to be fixed, it's really good to know also. So I appreciate that.
So when did they start the app? Because it's completely new, right?
No, it's not new, but it's really difficult to get known, right? Because you say there's so much competition and so many apps out there.
That's true.
It started a few years ago, and then it got a grant, like I said, from the National Science Foundation for phase 1, and now we are in phase 2. The thing that is also unique about it is that when it came out, it was really strong in natural language processing. This is really about natural language processing, looking at your natural language and then build other tools around it. It's actually really complicated, and it's a big system there. From speech recognition to tagging a grammatical feature, it's quite complex, because especially for low-resourced languages, I heard that 80% of the data come from English for AI training, 80%. So for other languages, we don't have that much data to create tools that are as good as for teaching English. And that's why for Vietnamese, when we added it, we had to pull a lot of resources, just because we care so much. And we really want to see other languages have applications that people can use for their learning. So I can share kind of behind the scene in terms of creating something from natural language processing, but also pulling from existing resources. Not everything is powered by ChatGPT here. A lot of different resources are combined to create something like this.
Tomorrow we're going to look at, and I invite you, Lynn, because I think you'll find it really interesting. And everyone, tomorrow we're going to take a look at a new way of learning, new way, the natural way, whichever, we think what is natural, with a different way of learning a language that has been very successful since World War II. When spies used to learn a language in a matter of, very short time, I don't know, a couple of months, they would speak the language, same kind of system, even though it's been developed a few times, and it's called any lingo. I've seen it. It's kind of the idea that you learn subconsciously. You're not learning consciously, but your brain picks up things, which is how we learn anyways. We don't learn consciously. We don't, as you said, you don't repeat things a million times and then voila, I can speak French because I know all these words and I can just put things together. So it's a more natural brain-based learning. And I don't know what's going to happen with it, because people kind of like to learn things in a classroom kind of way. Okay, that's even though it doesn't work, but it doesn't matter. I mean, I learned French, but I didn't really learn it in the classroom. I learned it after class, or we don't while living in a country where the language is spoken. That's how we actually learn, pick up languages. Immersive, exactly. Immersive learning is another way, of course.
It is not. That's why I'm talking about second language acquisition. Okay, brain-based sounds great, sounds like really fancy. But at the end of the day, if you want it to be pick things up subconsciously, you need to have enough exposure to the input and to
Of course.
And
But
then,
you still need to, it's not by repetition. You can't,
right.
I mean, you don't go, so it's not repetition and it's
Yeah.
not talking to other people because, we're not going to spend time. I mean, it takes time to talk to other people.
Right.
And we
right.
don't have time for that. So, the only way to learn is to pick it up, as Antonia mentioned, in an immersive learning, in an immersive way. So that's either with VR, which works, miraculously for all ages, or other ways. But VR is too expensive, with the gear and so on.
Yeah. My position is that, yes, immersive learning, but it also doesn't mean that it's going to lead to language learning either. We have to.
But it does. It does. I mean, you didn't learn a language. Who learned a language in the classroom? Either you watch movies in that language, or as Antonio mentioned, he learned English in 6 months.
Yeah.
But he had to move to the United States to do that.
Yeah, I do understand that there are more opportunities to learn English. I taught international students who came here to learn English, but they also wanted to learn it in a faster pace, right? So with technology intervention or with the classroom intervention, what we are trying to do is to create these optimal conditions for language learning. Even when you are in an immersive environment and you still don't have comprehensible input, or you don't have opportunities for interaction, you don't have corrective feedback, it's not going to happen that fast.
But your brain does.
No,
that's the thing. If you are relaxed enough, if you are relaxed, not you personally, I mean, if a person is relaxed, in a state of relaxation, they can pick up a lot more.
Right.
And so the idea is to relax. I mean, that's part of the process, is to relax into a state where, your mind, if you don't want like the word brain, your mind picks up the language by being exposed to it, of course. But how are you exposed to it? You just, keep listening to it. And you don't think about it, because if you start thinking about language, which what happens in Duolingo with the translations, you don't succeed, because you're constantly thinking about thinking or thinking about what you're doing. So the idea is to, it's still being immersed in a state of learning.
This is an argument as well. We cannot learn subliminally. Maybe I say it wrong.
We can. That's the thing that we
So that
do.
maybe it's an argument then, that maybe we need to find research to support it. That's why the principle of focus on form is still important. Noticing is important. You don't learn something until you notice it. So, but anyway, I'm gonna stop here. And in terms of,
well, you've got to support this. App.
No, this is from second language research, and I'm not.
But research doesn't. But we know a lot about research. I mean, I'm an academic as well. But there's a point where research is the research grants and so on. We can argue about research. Research doesn't mean that it's correct.
But if you don't have,
when it comes to language learning, not when it comes to science, when it comes to, the humanities.
Yeah, if there's not enough evidence to say that we can just learn without noticing, then I'm not going to believe it yet. But I'm sure that with that approach, there may be principles that align with learning implicitly, which I fully believe in. And the product
that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking. I'm talking about implicit learning. All right. So thank you.
Thank you. I love the presentation.
So come back tomorrow. There'll be a lot to discuss. I'm just giving you the other, the devil's advocate. I'm just giving you the other, and you're not going to know what I think.
Yes.
But that's going to be tomorrow. So join us.
Thank you, everyone. If you're interested, just connect with me, because I have 2 apps and I can help you to use it and make use of it so that you can accelerate language development for your students. Thank you for your time.